Hello, I'm Kads and welcome to today's video. So it is once again a special occasion bonus summons going on because of course there is a sacred POGO or pull one get one, what I like to call them, going on right now. And this is coming at a perfect time because of course there is a summon rush for the fusion coming up this weekend where most likely I would have to pull some amount of sacreds. And if we hop over to the Mercy tracker really quickly, we can see that we are already 5 sacreds deep into Mercy, which is great for a POGO. So the odds are decent. Every single shard is a hot shard, and the chances of getting a legendary will increase all the way up to, I guess, worst case, like 50 something. But more likely than not, within the first, I don't know, I'd say 30 on average, you'd probably get something unless you're just extremely unlucky. So let's not even speak that into existence. We are in Mercy. The odds are decent, and we should be able to proc our double legendary within a handful of sacreds. Now, as per usual, this is midweek, meaning there's no event or tournament coinciding with this in which to get rewards. Your only reward is the legendaries that you might get. And as far as whether or not this event is for you or for anyone else, I would say if you're playing around Mercy, this is most certainly one of the most strategic times to pull, provided you have enough sacreds and you don't need them for some other purpose. But I think for majority of players or people who are just far from Mercy or you're fresh off a legendary, anything like that, I still think a 2x is your best bet for sacreds, or just waiting for a fusion you want to participate in and making sure you have enough shards for that summon rush and or champion chase. But of course, as I mentioned, we are in the former situation, so we can play around Mercy here. So this is a great time for me to be pulling, and might as well go over the overall shard count while we're here. 680 on the Ancients, 157 on the Voids, 15 on the Primals, and 56 on the Sacreds, which of course we will be dipping into today. So who are we looking to get from our double legendary proc? Because this is a POGO event, meaning we're guaranteed 2 legendaries, I might as well mention all of the champions or all the legendaries on my wish list, my primary wish list, I should mention. So starting at the top, Valkyrie, because of potential in Demon Lord Clan Boss, as well as hard mode Fire Knight, Poison Exploder, Xavia, or Eleanor. I will take either or both. We're getting 2 after all. Molly Tankard for arena purposes, but also Hydra purposes. In my opinion, she is probably the best provoker in the entire game for Hydra Clan Boss, with the 2-turn provoke potential, but also decent as a mischief tank. Lord Chamfort, because I would like to use his passive in the Iron Twins to make it a little more consistent compared to the team I currently run. Snektrock, same thing. I'd like to use him for Iron Twins as an upgrade to one of my ally, or to Jarag, who I use for ally protection in the Iron Twins. And then after that, we go down to, believe it or not, Astrolith. I would still like to use her. I do have a Tuhanarok, so I'd really like to do the irresistible bomb spread strategy, for at least for tag team arena or something like that. That'd be really cool. And she might be like polymorph proof because I could build her with high resistance because the bombs don't need accuracy. But anyways, I digress. So Astrolith is on the list. And then last of all, Bad El Khazar, who's probably come down the most in value, which is why he's at the bottom of the list now. But just for like Cursed City purposes, he would still be advantageous. But realistically speaking, we're probably also going to get a decent amount of epics. And so for epics, we are looking for the ones missing from the Lady Mikage fusion. I need about half of them, and then any and all dupe epics for empowerment. That this is a great time to be getting epics with the advent of the recent update for epic empowerment. And then as a bonus, because there is a fusion going on right now, getting the fusion epic would be pretty substantial, and I'd get to skip a ton of events, so I wouldn't mind that either. All right, so let's get to the pools. We've got the space, we've got some cash, and hopefully we get some pretty decent double legendary luck. My personal record has been hitting the POGO on 1 sacred, so that is impossible to beat, but let's see if we can match it today. First sacred, and are we going to tie the record? We are not. We are going to get a Lady Atessa, who is a very terrible ally attack champion. Definitely needs a buff. Nowhere on the levels of like Catacomb Counselor or even Farrakhan, or especially Farrakhan the Fat. Sir Artemage, he is a pretty fun nuker. I did used to use him in Faction Wars as one of my DPS. I did replace him with Rhonda when she came out, and I built her out for other purposes. But I think if I needed him in the Cursed City as a DPS champion, I would most certainly put gear back on him and use him. So he has pretty decent multipliers, 1 AoE and then a single target ability that can give him some buffs if he kills the target, which can be difficult to make happen sometimes, but nonetheless, it is a nice bonus. 3 in Thylesia, pretty decent champion, couple of AoEs and AoE decrease defense, so she's great if you need that, or well, you do need that for faction wars. So she's a great epic for a great epic debuffer for the faction wars purposes, and she has a 100% chance to place decreased defense without being booked. You only need to book it if you care about the cooldowns, and if you're just concerned with clearing faction wars for the first time, she can just work unbooked. And then this is another AoE, so I personally run her in a stun set, which is pretty nice, double AoE, and again also with an AoE decreased defense, so that can be quite strong. Number 4. Oh man, we are just going in. Well, the unfortunate part about Pogos is that it's only worth it if you go all in. So we're going to have to go until we get the double gold, and that will make it all worth it in the end. And realistically speaking, the base rates for getting a legendary is 1 in 16. So if we get, less than 16 and then we still get 2 legendaries, it's still worth it overall. I hopefully don't have to go that far because we are in Mercy. But nonetheless, that is just a realistic understanding of the odds here. Drake, not much to really say about him. Budget Dracomorph, but that's not really the case. He just has a really, really weak kit. Another epic here, Sachi, running in at us. She is kind of cool because you can use her to revive an ally to kind of cheese your way through faction wars, but you can only have one ally die, and it's the red boss who ignores defense, so that can be pretty hard to pull off, and unless it is a possible strategy. But she's more like a gore grab type champion with increased attack. Fills turn meter, but it's an AoE attack, which is kind of cool. Then leech and decrease crit rate on a single enemy, again, can be useful in faction wars, stuff like that. AoE on the A1, stun set can work as well. Next, Sacred here. Hopefully the last one. No, another epic Fenshi. We're getting all the Shadowkin today. Really cool champion. It took me a long time to build him, but I think he's really cool. I think he's kind of come into more play with the Cursed City, just because when you need a champion for Fire Knight, a triple hitter on the A1, decrease speed, and then he has this, attacks an enemy 3 times, 75% chance when booked on a 2-turn cooldown, where each hit can decrease the target's turn meter by 15%. Not as strong as Allure, of course, with her A1 being like a 75% turn meter drop. Nonetheless, it can work within the restrictions of the Cursed City, or within the restrictions of like a challenge tournament, for example. The A2 also is a double hitter, so lots of multi-hits abilities in his entire kit. Great for breaking down the Fire Knight shield, specifically in the Cursed City, and also great for Giant Slayer. Okay, legendary, here we go. Number 1 is Elder Skarg, who is new, and number 2 is Tila Gormain. Oh, darn. Okay, I do have her, so she is a dupe. Guess we'll go in reverse order here. I do like Tila. She is really, really good. I think she's one of the most underrated Hydra champions in the game after her buff, because she's one of the champions who, like, she got buffed, but people, like, just forgot about it or didn't pay attention or whatever, and they just think that she has her old kit still, and they don't really appreciate what she can do. But what she can do is AoE attack here on a 4-turn cooldown when booked, has a chance of increase the duration of all HP burns on all enemies, and then a 100% chance of also placing Leech and Hex. So you have AoE Leech, AoE Hex, and then she can increase the duration of HP burns again on a 4-turn cooldown. I wish that was a 3-turn, but she does do work in like a reflex set, for example. AoE attack on the A2 has a 100% chance of placing HP burn, and then also places continuous heal on all allies for 2 turns. So a little bit of damage, again, in thinking Hydra mentality here, a little bit of damage from the HP burn. She extends it with the A3, and then she can also provide healing for your team. And then I used to run her on one of my teams, I think on Brutal, and the A1 here also came in clutch in a lot of instances because she has a chance to steal 1 random buff from the target. So if the Head of Mischief steals something, you can run over there and steal it back, or you can steal stuff from the Head of Wrath when he puts his buffs up. So kind of clutch. And then if they're under 2 or more buffs, she can also steal. She can steal 2 instead of 1. So pretty neat champion. I think she's pretty decent. But for me, that is just a dupe, so not super useful. Elder Skarg, I honestly don't remember if I've gotten him. I think he's new, but we'll check in the index. But I think he has like one of the hardest hitting single target non-enemy max HP hits in the game here, because you can hit one enemy 6 times potentially if you meet all the conditions here, which is pretty cool. 3-turn cooldown, only books into damage. And then here, this is the weird one where it's like, if it's only against legendaries, he can place provokes, stuff like that. He does a bunch of different things based on like the rarity of the enemy. I think his passive also like reflects, he receives less damage and then he reflects damage back on only legendary champions. So if you use an epic, you don't get hit by this, but if you use the legendary, you do. It's very strange, I must admit. Then the A1 here, increase speed on himself and then increase crit rate if it's not critical, which is weird, I guess, but it's, increased speed if he does crit, but you're going to want to build him with crit rate, so you're not really going to get the increased crit rate buff, realistically speaking. So we started off with 56 sacreds, and we burned down, I guess you can't see it because I'm hiding it, but we burned down to 49, meaning we pulled 7 sacreds, which is, again, not a bad deal to get 2 legendaries in 7 sacreds. That's pretty insane. So once again, the strategy or the strength of playing around Mercy and waiting until the right time to pull. Let's see, is Elder Skarg new? If these pop-ups will go way. Okay, Elder Skarg is new. He is new. That's what I thought. They're starting to all blend together just because I have so many legendaries on my account that I just don't use. They're all sitting in the vault, and unfortunately for him, he will be one of those champions. But yeah, so Elder Skarg is new. He is unique on the account, but as we mentioned, Tila is definitely don't empower. Tila is a dupe, and she is the first faction guardian for the orcs. There you go. So she gets herself 10% more HP. And actually, who else does that benefit here? Because orcs are one of the ones I don't use that often. Artak, okay, that's good. Artak is a little bit tankier, a little bit more HP. Gomlock Skyhide, a little bit more HP. I do use him against the Sand Devil. Angar, that'll be more damage for him. He's kind of built for the Cursed City, or he's going to be built for the Cursed City. He's not built yet. More HP for Varl. When I summon him, I do plan to use him in Hydra. A little bit more tankiness on Nogdar and Iron Brago. So it's not bad. So there you go. We procced the POGO event. It has now ended. We got ourselves our 2 legendaries, and again, only spent 7 sacreds, which to me is a great deal. We didn't get people from the top of my wish list, or I mean anywhere near it, to be honest. But nonetheless, hey, beggars can't be choosers, and we got some legendaries at the end of the day. And you know what? Because I do read the comments, I see what you guys say. So I guess I deserve this for all of these streaks of recent great, excellent luck I've had lately. So all the mythicals and getting Wellmaster Artharion as well. So we were due a couple of not as impactful legendaries on the account. So this is only fair karma. Now everything is balanced in the world. But we're not quite done for those of you willing to stick around. And if you are, comment down below or add to your comment down below a smiley face. That way I know that you are a real one that watches my videos all the way to the end. So I do have this progress mission here for Marius that I've been sitting on for a few days waiting for the next iteration of the Soul Chase tournament, which did arrive yesterday. But unfortunately, they did not include the boosted rates on 6-star Perfect Souls for Immortal and Mortal Soul Stones. So I was highly disincentivized from wanting to open any because I want the higher rates. They've provided it to us in the past during a soul chase, so I kind of want that level of quality when it comes down to it. But at the same time, I also don't want to be stuck on that mission for a month or worse, because these can be like 4 to 6 weeks apart. So I don't really want to sit there, and I don't really have any souls to sell at the moment. And so what we're going to do is we're going to pull just enough to get to 150 points, just so hopefully like 30 Mortal Soul Stones. That should be enough, ideally, and walk away with 300 energy, 150 gems, which is also energy effectively. So I think that's a relatively low investment for a high amount of return, in my opinion. And then all of that will probably be useful for the ongoing fusion, specifically in the champion training tournament that is coming up fairly soon. So really quickly, we're not going to do our long form iteration of how many soul stones I've gained over this period of time, because we're going to save that for the full soul chase where there's a boosted rates and all that stuff. So all we're trying to do here is just make sure that we can get to 150 points. And again, hopefully on average, this should be about 4 points per, so about 40 for a 10 pop. So maybe in 30 we could be done, and technically we could be done in 10. We'll see what happens here. Let's get started. So hopefully we can just get to 150 relatively easily. And I honestly forgot that they fixed the bug where it was showing the stuff in the beginning, and so we have to wait until the end to see the amount of points. And there we go, 58. There we go. A little bit better than the average. I already have a 2-star for Hellborn Sprite, but she is going to be useful, or she is used in the Cursed City on my account at least. Basilisk, I also have a higher tier, but this is good because I'm getting souls that I can sell, and all I need to do is get stuff that I can sell for soul coins. So this is all goodness. Anchorite 4-star. I think I have a higher one for him, which again is good because then I can sell the lower tier one, and we can finish that mission and get stuck somewhere else. So second 10 pop here. Looks like we got some Painkeepers, 2-star Sentinel. Ooh, Tolf the Maimed. This is good because I saw recently that he has the same or similar A1 to Gnarlhorn. So I'm very intrigued to plug and play with him in a Phantom Shogun team in place of Gnarlhorn, because I prefer to use Gnarlhorn for like Doom Tower, Secret Rooms, Curse City, in like a super tanky regen build type deal, and instead of trying to hemorrhage him by maxing out the crit damage so that he's an enfeebled target at the same time. And so if I could split those roles by using Tolf exclusively in the one place he might actually be useful, I will most certainly do that. So it looks like we're out of space, so we're gonna go sell some souls and make some room and get right back, because again, we're trying to get 250 points. All right, so we made a little bit of space and we're at 80 in the tournament. I just checked, so we just need 70 more points worth in order to get ourselves 150. And then I think in the for the mission, I'm at 140 at a 240, so we need like 100 coins worth of garbage to sell, and then we're good to go. Ooh, 3-star White King Narses. Okay, who needs boosted rates? 1-star Zavia. I think I already have a 2-star Ver, so that gets sold as well. This is all goodness, all souls that we want to sell. Obviously, we're going to keep that. That's massive. I think I have Narses at 1-star right now, or maybe at 2-star, I forget. But his soul has not come in the shop for like weeks, and so I'll take it. There we go. He's going to stay on the wish list though, because in the rare case that we get a 6-star or something like that, that'd be crazy. But ooh, 4-star Elegaius. Okay, that's pretty nice. Wish list on the Husk. That I have him at 2-star. Hellborn's right again. We keep getting to quadruple wish list. Okay, well, 121. We're done. Okay, cool. But wow, all right, quadruple wish list there. All 3 of the rares, you can see them on my wish list there, and the Husk as well. But all of those will be sold, and that, well, I mean, 4-star legendary is definitely going to do it. Honestly, I didn't even pay attention, and we might have actually crossed the threshold on the first 10 pop there. But let's see where we are in the champion chase. I'm not actually going to collect the energy yet because the champion training tournament is not live yet, but we will collect the gem. So did we overshoot by way too much? Well, I guess the last one was 120, which means we were at 160. So yeah, whoops. Did not need to do that last 10 pop. I was so distracted by the 3-star for White King Narses that we just moved on. So there we go. So I mean, I guess this saves me what, 120 essence. So I do think I have 300 essence effectively. Let me see if we look at the market here. Yeah, because I'm sitting on a bunch in coins, so like if I needed to get to 300, I could do it. And so if his 4-star soul comes into the mix, then we can just buy it out. And so, hey, I'll take it. That saves me 120 essence. And I've been sitting on this for a while, just waiting for champions to come in the market. So we will take that. So with that out of the way, that is actually going to do it for this video. So we did the Pogo plus the bonus mini summons for the soul chase in terms of soul stones. And of course, we did get the Marius mission done. So we are not going to sit on this for another month or so until the next soul chase comes around. And we can move on to hard mode dragon, I guess, and then back into the rotation of Iron Twins and all the other bosses. So yeah, let me know in the comment section down below, were you close to Mercy or did you just YOLO for the Sacred Pogo, and let me know what you got from your summons. As always, if you did enjoy the video, then be sure to hit that like button down below and feel free to subscribe to the channel for more content just like this one in the future. Thanks for watching and have a good one.